Ooh, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back. I got some really big news. I finally have a new turbo coming for the car. Currently, it is Wednesday, July 3rd. The turbo is supposed to be dropped off on Friday. So right now, if you knew the old setup, it had a old version of a Forced Inductions 91104. And just for lack of a better term, I just wanted to go a more cost-effective route. I did get a VS Racing 8896. Those turbos make plenty of power. I mean, I've seen those turbos make north of 1200 horsepower, and this is still a stock bottom N53, so that is more than enough power to blow that thing up. And again, I really only want to make that 900 mark, and it should easily do that. So we are kind of getting the car prepped. I went to my buddy Jeremy's shop today and bought his old downpipe because my old turbo had a 4-inch exhaust exit out of the back housing, and this new one has a 5-inch. So he had an old downpipe off his old setup on his C10, and I just bought that off him along with the V-band for the Marvin flange. Anyways, we are gonna get a few things prepped on the car, and then I'm also gonna be installing a dome light here, which is something I've been meaning to do for a while. I've had the dome light installed, just never hooked it up. So we're gonna be working on that, and then probably just a few other odds and ends things to get the car ready, because potentially this weekend I might go test, but we'll see what happens. Christmas in July. The turbo just showed up. It's about 5 o'clock sharp. I was sitting out here working on Brady's car, and UPS brought it. I am so stoked. I honestly did not think this thing was supposed to show up today, so I am super hyped to try and actually get this thing put back together. I should have everything I need. My next step is now I'm gonna pause working on Brady's car and go back to this to try and actually get this thing buttoned up again and get it back on the road. I'm super stoked. Also, it is now Friday. Last I talked to you guys, it was like Wednesday. Mosquitoes were attacking me, and I just got sick of it, so I went back inside and I said, screw it, I'm gonna deal with this when the turbo shows up. So here we are, turbo is here. Brady's car. Sorry, Brady. I'm gonna not look at your car anymore. And then I will continue doing that. But anyways, yeah, let's get started on this thing. We're gonna get some cars moved around and get a turbo in. Alrighty, let's get to unboxing this thing. Shout out to the guys at VS Racing and UPS, because they got this thing here extremely fast. I ordered it Monday over the weekend, or the week of July 4th, and it showed up on Friday. So I am super stoked. I didn't honestly think it was going to be here this soon, but I mean, I'm not even complaining. So get that shit out of the way. Now this is like I said, my old turbo was a VS Racing, or not VS Racing, a Forced Inductions 91104. Oh, nice. Even set it with new gaskets. I think they have multiple there, even. That's really cool. My old one was a 91104, and this is a 8896. Now, yes, it's a smaller turbo, but it's really not. Like, this will make the exact amount of power that old turbo made, because this is a large unit. And there we have it. VS Racing 91104, or VS Racing 8896. Like I mentioned, this is a slightly smaller turbo compared to the FIS 91104 I had. But I've seen guys make upwards of like 1,200-1,300 horsepower with this unit, so it should be plenty. And I'm sure it has more than that in it, but obviously I only have a stock bottom M53 in here that 900 horsepower is already pushing it, so this is going to be plenty of turbo for that car. This is also, oddly enough, the first car, or the first brand new turbo I've ever purchased. All my other turbos were used. This one is brand spanking new. So that's kind of exciting. God, this thing is large. What a unit. Absolute unit. This thing is huge. This thing is huge. I'm stoked. I'm stoked. Are you guys stoked? So I'm ready to get this car back on the road. Anyways, let's get to putting this thing on. So turbo's kind of mocked up. I can already tell I'm running into a problem because although these are both S400 chassis turbos, this one is obviously not lined up. Also, there is a pretty substantial gap there that I don't think I'm going to just be able to use the bolts to pull it up. I have a feeling it's going to cause too much flexing issues, maybe cause some cracking. My only idea is that I'm going to have to cut the turbo mount off and bolt the turbo directly to the flange to start with and redo the turbo mount. Not a huge deal. I just wasn't expecting to have to do that. I'm still kind of spitballing here with myself what I want to try and do, but I have a feeling that's what's going to happen. We'll see. I'm gonna brainstorm here. I'm not really sure what else I'm gonna have to do, but as far as I can see now, that's about my only option. But I'm gonna play with it. I'm not gonna give up yet. I'm gonna play with it and see how I can get everything to line up, loosen up the V-bands, loosen up the manifolds and everything, and see how much I can wiggle stuff around. Maybe I'll get lucky. I'm not gonna time lapse this just because I have no idea how long this is gonna take. I could be here messing around with this for a couple hours. It could take me 10 minutes of finagling it around and it could work. But anyways, I'll update you guys as soon as I can. I wasn't able to quite get these bolts lined up the way I wanted to without putting too much strain on this hot side. It would just be prone to crack if I kept wrenching on it the way I was. So what I'm doing here is I'm actually gonna cut my chassis brace off for the turbo. Then I'm gonna bolt the turbo to the hot side and then get the intercooler piping hooked up, and it should have enough room. And then what I'm gonna do with this cut off is I'm gonna bolt this brace onto the turbo and then find where I can weld it back to the chassis and then go from there. Because I mean, I just think it's a little more time consuming than trying to just weasel it on there and cause all that stress, but it's gonna save me a headache in the long run when I crack a freaking hot side weld. So I'm just gonna do it this way and hopefully it works out. But I'm gonna get this cut off for now and then we'll go from there. Okay, so about halfway through cutting this mount, I had the bright idea to maybe not cut all of it. So I cut this and then I cut the majority of the way through this tube, and now it's given me the ability to move it back and forth a little bit, but it's still tight, so it's still holding. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get the turbo back over here, set it on here, and maybe bolt it back up just so I can move it around, and then bolt it here, and then bolt it here again. Well, you know, bolt it to the hot side, and then I'm gonna bolt it back to the cold side, get everything like kind of semi-mocked up, and then I'm gonna grab the welder, and I'm gonna clean up these areas and weld those back together. Should be good to go. And then I gotta hook up my oil feed, my oil return. And then the other part is I need to modify these two exhausts. Yes, it's gonna be very ghetto, but it is what it is. I'm on a budget, so we're gonna do what we can. And then I'm gonna hook up that, and then I need the piece down here with the O2 bungs, and I can keep moving. But other than that, I mean, it's kind of in the seeing the light at the end of the tunnel here with this, so hopefully this works. We'll see what happens. Okay, so we got the exhaust done. Clay showed up.
So,
and yeah, I did end up doing it like that. Nobody is ever gonna see these welds because I MIG welded it, so I'm gonna wrap it. I did it the exact same way I did my old exit, and that's why I always wrapped it, because
I was gonna say, nobody knew that your old exhaust looked the same way because it had a wrap, so it doesn't matter.
It looked absolutely awful, and this does too, and that's why it's getting wrapped all over again. So, I mean, the welds are...
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
I shouldn't even show that, honestly, but yeah, hey, I might censor it. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so I got the O2 bungs on the back even still, and then I just gotta thread that in. So the exhaust is done, the turbo is bolted up. I do need to re-weld down here on the brace to make sure that stays, not a big deal. And then I need to get the compressor housing on and the intercooler piping, and it should be damn near done after that. I need to tighten up my feed line and return line, and then I don't know what's left after that. Start it?
Get her on the trans brake?
That's what I'm saying. It's what, 10 o'clock, so we got 4 hours left? No,
oh, we're for sure.
2 a.m. 2 a.m. trans brake coming at you. Neighbors are gonna love this shit, but how to strip and threads.
Oh, I thought you just had like a normal crescent wrench. Screen went black. Is it still recording?
Yeah, it's flashing red. Now we gotta prime it. I think you're not technically supposed to do this way, but we're gonna just like keep the motor off and just crank it over a few times to get oil into it. Hopefully that's good enough. Oh God, I'm like really nervous for some reason.
You'll be good.
Yeah.
If you're not, I'll tell you to turn it off.
Let's just think about this a second. All right. Compressor housing's tight, back housing's tight, nut bolts to the
exhaust is hooked up, O2's hooked up, feed and return line for the turbo hooked up.
Man, we got it.
Okay, good enough. So many mosquitoes in here, dude. Like you said, we're just gonna prime it.
It's good enough.
Fuck it, try to start it.
test, and I'll update you guys in a little bit. Alrighty, it is about 10:45. I got the exhaust wrapped. That looks way better than it did. And bumper's back on, and honestly, this thing is looking pretty spicy, eh? Pretty spicy, mate. But yeah, so Clay's moving his truck out of the way, and then we might. Are we gonna go drive this thing? Duh. Yeah, so
We
probably
terrorize the neighborhood.
yeah, we're gonna terrorize the neighborhood, he says. So we're probably gonna go drive this thing around a little bit and see how it does. Hopefully everything's good, but I'm probably gonna end up redoing that wrap at some point because it's not the best, but it'll work for now. So, last thing to say, Clay, for the end of the video. Mosquitoes suck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, we'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.
Get paid, little shorty, get paid. 100,000 in the safe, couple thousand in the drain. Get paid, little shorty, get paid. No, I'm always on my grind, 24/7 days. Favorite color, money green. Paper. I've been on my grind since I was in the 7th grade. Had my first kid, I was only 17. Always a provider for my pack like Wolverines. But you won't find me on the mountaintop. Need no calculator, I can weigh it cause it kinda lot. Always on my top around that paper like a Michael Scott.
Clay was saying earlier, all his vehicles except the big block truck are giving him issues. Now here we are, 11:45 at night. Truck won't start.
For the second time today.
Yeah, I didn't start
For the
earlier.
second time since I said that. We'll throw that in there.
It's never that easy. It's just never easy.